Download the BCSN Plus app today. Local sports all the time. Visit bcsnnation.com for details. Discounts may apply. On the Diamond with Duane is brought to you by State Farm agent Julie Spann Johnson. Covering your bases and protecting your future. Call Julie for all of your insurance needs.
All good things must come to an end. Softball season is now over, so that means this is our last On the Diamond with Duane. Duane, it's been so much fun talking softball all year.
Yes, it is. And it's been my pleasure having you host this with us for these 10 weeks and to just do nothing but talk about softball, things I love the most.
Call it fate or just a premonition to who would be some of the best teams in our area. But as our final team of the week, it happens to be the team that made it the furthest this year from Northwest Ohio. It's the Division III state runner-up, Springfield.
Yeah, and I had a pleasure of talking to Rob this morning after he kind of got over the final game down there. And he said, when he looks at it, they were a dream team. You know, they set out, they had 8 seniors, 6 that started, and they had goals that they were able to achieve. The goals that they were looking at was to win the NOL, which they did, and to get back to the state championship game like they did in 2022, and they were able to achieve that. So my hat off to, Hall of Fame Rob for doing what he does best, and that's get the most out of these girls, and getting to that championship game is what he did.
There's no doubt that these seniors have left a great legacy and will certainly be sorely missed within the Blue Devils program. So as we unveil your final top 10 of our On the Diamond with Duane segment, I imagine Springfield has to be your #1 team.
Yeah, they are by far going the farthest. No surprises that they eventually work themselves up there. It's a long season for them, and they belong there because they are a state finalist. And then, Anthony Wayne, Oak Harbor, Gibsonburg getting to the state Final Four, you have to give them their credit for all that they did through their season and getting hot at the right time. My top 10 is just my choices. I'm sure everybody else might have something different, but I believe these teams are deserving to be credited for being some of the best in Northwest Ohio.
Absolutely talented teams, and we had plenty of talented seniors whose high school careers have now come to an end. That includes our final player of the week. She comes from Central Catholic, and it's pitcher Ella Schuberg.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Corey Bryan, who took over the program a couple of years ago, and Central Catholic's program changed the minute Ella Schuberg and Addie Brinkman came on board. And you have to have good pitching. If you expect to do well and be competitive, you have to have good pitching, and that's exactly what Ella brought to the program. And in 4 years, she pitched over 400 innings. She had 663 strikeouts, a 3.2 average, and she batted like 426, over 400 for 4 years. That's just incredible stuff. That's why you become competitive, and that's what she and Addie brought to the program, be competitive.
She is one of many players of the week that we got to highlight throughout this entire spring, many of whom recently also earned All-Ohio honors. That includes Haley Griggs being named the Gatorade Ohio Player of the Year. Just what a talented list getting recognition.
Yeah, I mean, you go up and down that list, and there are days that, like Cam Hall, just going 4 for 4 in the game against Springfield, playing Anthony Wayne, and you can't say enough about all those players that are up there. And I'm sure there's a lot of other ones, like Molly Connor and whatnot, that could be recognized up in there. I know how the selection process goes, and there's probably 5 players that could have been all-state players that didn't get selected here, but they know that their performance was all-state performances through the course of the year. So congratulations to these ladies that made all-state selection, as well as all the players that excelled in the program this year.
Well, there's no more softball to tune in for, unfortunately, on BCSN. We'll have some baseball, though, coming up at the end of this week as they look to crown their state champions in the state semifinals and championship games. But, Duane, it's been a pleasure all spring.
Yes, it has. I really enjoyed being with you and being able to talk softball and what goes on in Northwest Ohio. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed our segments, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Thanks, Duane.
Thank you.